you reach a jumping off point where you begin to wonder if maybe actually doing it will give you that which is beyond just reading about it or looking at it. These sound like reasonable words until you find out they're the words of Ted Bundy, a man who raped and murdered over 30 women. Ted Bundy said, "I've met a lot of men who are motivated to commit violence just like me, and without exception, every one of them was deeply involved in pornography." Today, I want to talk to you about the danger and the damage that can be done from the use of pornography, especially violent pornography. Although it has been linked to violent crimes and violent criminals everywhere, still 70% of men 18 to 34 use porn in a typical month, according to 123help.com, a pornography help site. I'm an intern pastor, and because of that, I've had the opportunity to counsel many men and women and have seen firsthand at the damage that pornography can do. Many men confess to, even though they use pornography occasionally, those images that they've seen, they follow them everywhere they go. Today, I hope to show you how pornography affects women, men, family, and our society. The story of Ted Bundy is really a telling story because he did an interview with James Dotson, the founder of Focus on the Family. We have an uncanny look at the mind of a serial killer. Ted Bundy sought out James Dotson because his message was clear. He wanted to do one good thing. He felt he was beyond redemption, but he wanted to do one good thing, and that was let us know what was the common link that would cause someone to do such horrible actions that he did in his life. And the link was pornography, especially violent pornography, and the addiction to it. Now, the first thing that you hear when someone mentions Ted Bundy, or many other people like Ted Bundy that have committed such crimes, is that they use pornography and they're not going to go out and rape or murder someone. But just like a drug, it affects each and every person different. Still, even those who aren't going to go to such extreme actions that Ted Bundy did, there's still dangerous and damaging effect that affects every person who looks at pornographic images. But yet, like candy, it is readily available on the internet. It's even easier to access than candy. I say candy because according to the Attorney General's Commission on Pornography, the average age of someone who inadvertently, a boy who inadvertently is exposed to pornography is 11 years old, and a girl 13. That means most 11-year-old boys have accidentally stumbled upon pornographic images through spam, file sharing, or just clicking on the wrong link. This is not their desire. This is something they were forced to view because of accidentally clicking on a link. I call it cyber-flashed. The reason I call it cyber-flash is because it's just like someone flashed you. And in today's society, though it's illegal for someone to flash a person in public, for some reason, if they do it on the internet, it's okay. Websites are permitted to have pop-ups, email spam containing pornographic images. These are not just sexual acts that are being expressed here. This is not a thing of love. It's a thing of violent images, often depicting rape as pleasurable. The book Violent Pornography and Abuse of Women interviews women leaving abusive relationships. These women who have been abused by men tell the same tale over and over. And that's the tale of their husbands being addicted to violent pornography. Most of them were asked to at least watch the violent pornography, if not reenact it. There is an undeniable link. Pornography affects everyone. It affects women who are in the industry, it affects men who use it, and women who enter relationships with it. The women in the industry, unfortunately, are a lot of times 18-year-old girls. Statistically, most of them have been abused and emotionally are disheartened and feel like they're worthless. Jenna Jameson, a famous porn star, wrote a book in which she talks about this and how many of the women that she's known in the industry all feel the same way and got into it for the same reason that she got in, which was that they felt worthless, and they just decided that they might as well because of how worthless they feel about themselves. But these worthless people these people are not worthless. These people that feel worthless are the people that we're taking advantage of and using for our pleasure and satisfaction when we look at pornographic images. They are said to be volunteers, but just as many children in third world countries that volunteer to be in sweatshops, these women are not in a place where they should be allowed to make such decisions. We shouldn't ever have a society in which we allow people to be treated like objects meant for the destruction and pleasure of someone else. It's just not right. And the men who use pornography often feel helpless. They feel like there's nothing they can do because of the readily available pornography that's all over the internet, that's constantly just at their fingertips. These are images that it's hard for them to ever try to get out of their mind and to find a way to have a pure life because of the constant bombardment of pornographic images, and even in movies that are even PG-13 and R-rated, we're confronted with these sexual images that remind them of the images that they see in pornographic movies. Unfortunately, the worst victim are the women who enter into relationships with people that are addicted to pornography. Often they're completely unaware, and when they find out, they feel like they are inadequate, and they feel betrayed, like they did something wrong, and that they weren't enough. When it's nothing that's their fault, they feel horrible because of this addiction that is being allowed to exist in our society. Now, we say all the time, what you do in your own home is up to you. But when it comes to something that is brought into our society, that is destructive in nature, it cannot be allowed to exist. The First Amendment does not allow obscenity. Though the First Amendment allows freedom of speech, material that is obscene is categorically illegal. Unfortunately, the definition of what is an obscene material is very vague. So it's hard to enforce. So pornography is allowed basically on a technicality to be legal. We do enforce child pornography, and we already know that it's possible for us to restrict pornography, as we do in child pornography. Unfortunately, though, that's it. The UK has taken a greater stance than we have, and they have made violent pornography illegal, but we have not. We need to take action, and the first step is to simply inform people. Let people know of the damage and the danger of pornography, to speak out against it. We can't allow it to be this thing that we feel ashamed to talk about. If you use pornography, seek help. There's a lot of help out there. XXXchurch.com is one. Talk to a counselor, a pastor, or a therapist, or just a trusted friend, but talk to someone. This is something that we have hope for. We can change this. Just as cigarettes used to be advertised all the time and were completely accepted and thought of as harmless, we can change. It's no longer. And pornography can have the same kind of change. But it's like mold. Mold gets in your house, and you don't always see it, but it affects everything. You can smell it, and it will start to make you sick. This has been a sickness in the society, and we cannot let the mold of pornography to be in our society anymore.